Hey everyone, we are back for our weekly update with the most pertinent industry news for Austin real estate. Let's start with the numbers and finish up with a somewhat important story that I think you might find interesting. First off, what are these week's numbers, as in sales, pendings, interest rates, things like that, and what do they mean for you if you're thinking about buying or selling a home? So we'll turn to some recent market data. We observed 1,020 new listings hit the market this past week, 1,876 price decreases, 276 price increases. Additionally, 180 properties have returned to the market, so they were under contract and the deal fell through. 868 are pending sales that are under in contract, and impressively, 670 properties closed just this past week alone here in the Austin area. Now, interest rates were basically steady where they were last week. The average interest rate right now is 7.19%. But I have some great news for you and anybody that's been keeping track of these rate increases. The Federal Reserve has opted to leave, the main US interest rate. They're going to leave it unchanged and keep it in the range of 5.25 to 5.5. And they're going to take this time to assess the impact of its series of rapid rate hikes that we've experienced over the past 18 months and see how well it's controlled inflation. Well, they do acknowledge that inflation remains above the 2% target, but the Fed highlighted an easing of economic conditions and the belief that tighter credit conditions, as in it's more difficult to borrow right now, those two will likely continue to curb economic activity and thus inflation. So they think they're done raising. They're going to kind of let it play out now. See, the recent aggressive rate increases did aim to address the spiking consumer prices that we were seeing in the late 2021 timeframe, and we actually reached 40-year highs in consumer prices. However, the Fed's decision now indicates that it's shifting towards more of a wait-and-see approach, at least for the immediate future. It's going to monitor economic developments and kind of make a decision in a few months. So, is this the end of the non-recession that we're in? We shall see. Now, for the fun part, what does all this mean for you, again, if you're thinking about buying or selling a home right now? Well, so sellers, the market does seem to be picking up a bit, but it is still essential that you price your home strategically, you stage it as well as possible, and you have an open mind when it comes to negotiating with buyers, especially when it comes to helping them with closing costs so that they can buy their interest rate down. Buyers are really liking that right now. Buyers, what does this mean for you? Well, quite frankly, there's a ton of opportunity in the market right now for you to take your time and find the perfect home for your specific situation. Just remember, rates are higher than what we've been used to over the past decade, but rate buy downs can give you a huge impact and really hit your monthly payment and get it down to where it's a much more tolerable level. They are worth considering with any offer you make. If you have any questions, of course, you can reach out. You can do a quick Google search to figure that out as well. Now, let's shift gears over to our highlighted story for this week. This is a really cool one. I'm interested to see how this plays out. So, tiny homes and RVs may be considered permanent residences in Austin, meaning that you may soon be able to put them on your lot or your home's lot and use them as a residence or a source of income if you decide to rent it out. So you could expand your square footage or just use it as the main house. So, according to a report by the Austin Business Journal that just came out, I think a couple days ago, I was just reading it this morning. The Austin City Council is considering a significant housing option expansion. They've asked city officials to draft an ordinance that allows mobile homes and tiny homes. I'm sorry, not mobile homes, tiny mobile homes and RVs. They want that ordinance to allow those types of structures to be used as permanent residences in areas that are currently only zoned for single family housing. This move, it's aiming to address the city's pressing affordable housing issue by providing an innovative solution. I think it's pretty cool. The code amendment draft is expected by the end of November, is what they're thinking. So we'll see how that plays out. And it's part of Austin's broader efforts to alleviate those housing challenges. It includes relaxing regulation for accessory dwelling units, the RVs, and allowing residential housing to be built on commercially zoned land. So they're doing a lot of multiple approaches here. And so this initiative and all the others, they really could just provide more affordable housing alternatives, particularly for those seeking quick and cost-effective ways to expand their living spaces. Nothing more quick than just coming and dropping off extra square footage, if you know what I mean. So I'm very interested to see how this plays out. One thing I will say is most banks don't give value to these kinds of housing solutions when handing out mortgages. So it could be a cost-effective method of providing housing or expanding your living space. but it might not necessarily yield additional value for your property. So you're going to really want to make sure the math makes sense before you do something like this if it is approved. All the same, though, it's an exciting development. And of course, we'll keep you up to date as we learn more about this. It's just in the baby stages right now. So, in conclusion to all of that, we're going to be watching how all these updates unfold. We'll continue to bring you up, recent week by week updates on these stories, as well as the numbers that need to be paid attention to. And of course, if you have any questions or you want to discuss how these developments or these numbers might impact your real estate plans, feel free to reach out. We're here to help, and I'll talk to you soon.